How to engineer your environment so energy is created automatically instead of relying on willpower. So that'll be number 2, environment. This is where high performers win because they don't rely on willpower. Engineering your environment for success. So daytime environment is energy creation, right? Bright lights early, particularly from the sun. The brightest source of light is the sun. Don't get it mistaken. Yeah, you can have these artificial ones that could mimic, but there's no replacement even for cloud covered sun. You just have to be out there for a little bit longer, but it's OP. Best source that there is. Okay? Back to the temp. Cool temperature in the morning. Okay, right? Because if it's cold on the outside of you, your body temperature on the inside is gonna rise. So when your internal body temperature is rising, you're coming awake, right? Like there's a rhythm of your body, core body temperature over the course of the day. It starts low and then gradually, like up until like 2, 3, 4 p.m., that's where it peaks in terms of like max internal core body temperature. Like that's when like I recommend most of my guys that they train because that's when you're gonna be the strongest. Your tissues are gonna be kind of like more malleable, right? Like you're gonna be able to stretch and contract them really well, like 3, 4, 5 p.m. And it has to do with your core body temperature. So in the morning though, in order to wake yourself up, cool temperatures, getting outside, cold plunge potentially if you're not, you don't stress yourself too much, you can kind of tolerate that. Then other daytime energy creators in your environment, movement. So every 60 to 90 minutes, get up, move, right? Stretch, kind of, low back, all kinds of whatever. You can get a little mobility routine from me if you need, but it's simple: squat, hang, stuff like that. Another way to create energy is to bring in oxygen reliably throughout the day. So having a seated posture that doesn't, collapse your breathing, right? Like, so sitting with an upright posture so that I can keep bringing in oxygen to the system, feeding the muscles, feeding the brain. The brain uses oxygen and glycogen. Those are the fuel sources for the brain. We're thinking a lot, so we don't want to constrict breathing over the course of the day. So that's going to help create energy. And then caffeine, right? Caffeine early. This is a supplement. We'll get into it, but caffeine early, never late. The half-life is longer than you think. You've become so numb and immune to the impacts of it because you're probably trying to cover your fatigue and your poor sleep with coffee and trying to fend off later crashes with more coffee. But then that is going to impact your sleep, the deep sleep at the beginning of the sleep window, and you're going to be in this chronic state of trying to chase energy. But it starts with sleep, and caffeine too late is going to disrupt your sleep. So start removing it, and we'll get into supplements and nootropics and peptides that are going to help you focus and stay alert and active and such, so that you don't need caffeine. They are stimulating, but they're not sleep disruptive, okay? So that's all the daytime energy environment energy creators. Then we go into the evening environment, right, where we want to downshift. So explained already, warm light only. So red, oranges, hues, boom, boom, okay, red and oranges. Switch out the bulbs, smart bulbs, get them on dimmers. Have this one is on a dimmer, I could change it to red and orange, okay? So no screens without filters. So this can be a filter, or getting a setting on your phone that, let's see if I can do it here. Yep, okay, so triple clicking and then accessibility shortcuts, triple click and then have an accessibility shortcut that makes your screen, go red at least 90 minutes before, all the screens are red and such. So that's a helpful tip. Slower tempo music, like if you're taking a warm shower, put relaxing music, jazz, instrumentals, lo-fi beats, right? Shifting down. Lower conversation intensity, right? Like with your girlfriend or your wife, but calm, not high intensity conversations. Those happen, around the dinner table potentially. in the mornings, but in the evenings, wind it down, tone it down, chill out. Don't bring up like, super punchy, touchy conversations. That's an important one to kind of help you downshift in the environment in the evening. Last, like a clear off ramp ritual, a routine. That one thing signals kind of a cascade of events that bring you into sleep. So whether it's like 30 minutes before, but there's one trigger event that causes 2, 3, 4, and then you're down and you're out and you're good. This is why, energy tomorrow is built tonight. That's everything environmentally of how to optimize for good sleep. Sleep is the backbone. Okay, so that's number 2. Boom, environment done, check. Let's go into lifestyle levers before supplements still. Lifestyle levers are energy hygiene, okay? If these aren't in place, supplements are gonna be inconsistent. They're gonna feel inconsistent. It's not gonna match and align really well. So high ROI lifestyle rules: protein early in the day for blood sugar control and neurotransmitter signaling, walks after meals, right? Controlling your glucose and for mental clarity. Okay, things during the day that you can do to kind of keep stable energy without supplements. Again, before we get into supplements, okay? So training not to annihilate your central nervous system. No stimulant stacking, especially when you're stressed. There's supplements that can kind of undercut some of that stress and not layering in more stimulants on top of stress, right? Energy dies when cortisol stays elevated. Okay, that's your stress hormone. So when cortisol stays elevated, energy dies, right? You're using your battery. When your insulin levels are swinging, okay, so that screws up energy rhythm and consistency. And then when your sleep is fragmented, all right, so late coffee, fragment sleep, high stim environments, late in the day, fragment sleep, light, fragment sleep, right? In the end, a lot of science behind that, but trust me on here. And then obviously, when training exceeds recovery, your energy is going to be crap, right? Like you're just overexerting yourself. You're training too hard. You're not recovering well enough. You're going to be tired. You're going to be freaking worn out. You know what I mean? So you have to match the training to the amount of recovery that you're getting. You can't keep drawing from this account of energy expenditure. You need to recharge the battery and balance. Okay. So before going hard on supplements, right, like vitamin D, omega 3 indexes, magnesium status, we can get that indirectly, iron markers. Blood work just kind of really prevents random stacking, wasted money, and masking kind of the root problem. So it's important that we do that. Supplements should correct deficiencies or support your demand, not kind of compensate for chaos. If you found this valuable, if you like the topics, if you like kind of how I think and work through these types of things, give me a follow, subscribe, keep engaging with the content, reach out to me if there is specific health and performance goals that you want to work through or chat and discuss and see how potentially working together and giving you kind of the support, the accountability, the structure, and the systems to run this. I'm here, available. I do have some capacity. I take on a few new men every month, and that's really just to keep the quality high. But otherwise, I hope you have a blessed one, and I hope to see you in the next one.